Computer hacking is the act of identifying and exploiting system and network vulnerabilities, in order to obtain unauthorized access to the systems. Not all hacking is malicious. White hat hackers may work in cybersecurity, or as software engineers, and testers seeking out vulnerabilities in order to fix them. Black hat hackers operate with malicious intent. There is a large gray area populated by political activists and hackers who wear both hats. Famous hackers to discover critical vulnerabilities, and reveal the strategies that establish the foundations of the Internet, and its free-for-all libertarianism. In this video, we have listed the top 10 most notorious hackers of all time. Before checking out the list, please give your precious time to subscribe our channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the bell icon to get notification for our next videos. Number 10. Astra. This hacker differs from the others on this list, in that he has never been publicly identified. However, according to the Daily Mail, some information has been released about Astra. Namely that he was apprehended by authorities in 2008, and at that time he was identified as a 58-year-old Greek mathematician. Reportedly, he had been hacking into the Dassault Group for almost half a decade. During that time, he stole cutting-edge weapons technology software and data, which he then sold to 250 individuals around the world. His hacking cost the Dassault Group $360 million in damages. Number 9. Jonathan James. Using the alias Comrade, Jonathan James hacked several companies. According to the New York Times, what really earned James' attention was his hack into the computers of the United States Department of Defense. Even more impressive was the fact that James was only 15 at the time. In an interview with PC Mag, James admitted that he was partly inspired by the book, The Cuckoo Egg, which details the hunt for a computer hacker in the 1980s. His hacking allowed him to access over 3,000 messages from government employees, usernames, passwords and other sensitive data. In 2008, James committed suicide by gunshot. According to the Daily Mail, his suicide note stated, "I have no faith in the justice system. Perhaps my actions today, and this letter, will send a stronger message to the public." Number 8. Kevin Powelson. In 1990, Powelson went underground. According to his own website, in 1990, he hacked a radio station contest and ensured that he was the 102nd caller, winning a brand new Porsche, a vacation. Number 7. Michael Kaltz. In the year of 2000, the 15-year-old Michael discovered how to take over networks of university computers. He used their combined resources to disrupt the #1 search engine at the time. Within 1 week, he brought down the Dell, eBay, CNN, and Amazon using a distributed denial-of-service attack that overwhelmed corporate servers and caused their websites to crash. His wake-up call was perhaps the most jarring for cybercrime investors and internet proponents. It is not an exaggeration to say that the development of cybercrime legislation suddenly became a top government priority, thanks to Kaltz's hacking scenarios. Number 6. Jeanson James. Jeanson had no interest in hacking systems for credit card data, or crashing networks to deliver social justice. Instead, he was curious about the use of bot software-based robots that can infect and ultimately control computer systems. Using a series of large-scale botnets, he was able to compromise more than 400,000 computers in 2005. According to Ars Technica, he then rented these machines out to advertising companies, and was also paid to directly install bots or adware on specific systems. Jeanson was sentenced to 57 months in prison. This was the first time a hacker was sent to jail for the use of botnet technology. Number 5. Matthew Bevan and Richard Price. Matthew and Richard are a team of British hackers who hacked into multiple military networks in 1996, including Griffiths Air Force Base, the Defense Information System Agency, and the Korean Atomic Research Institute. They have been accused of nearly starting a third world war, after they dumped Gary research onto American military systems. Malicious intent or not, Bevan and Richard demonstrated that even military networks are vulnerable. Number 4. Albert Gonzalez. According to the New York Daily News, Gonzalez got his start as the troubled pack leader of computer nerds at his Miami high school. He eventually became active on criminal commerce site shadowcrew.com, and was considered one of its best hackers and moderators. At 22, he was arrested in New York for debit card fraud related to stealing data from millions of card accounts. To avoid jail time, he became an informant for the Secret Service, ultimately helping indict dozens of Shadow Crew members. During his time as a paid informant, he continued his criminal activities. Along with a group of accomplices, he stole more than 180 million payment card accounts from companies. Number 3. Adrian Lam. In 2001, 20-year-old Adrian Lam used an unprotected content management tool on Yahoo to modify a Reuters article and add a fake quote attributed to former Attorney General John Ashcroft. Adrian often hacked systems and then notified both the press and his victims. In some cases, he helped clean up the mess to improve their security. As Wired points out, he took things too far in 2002, when he hacked the New York Times intranet, added himself to the list of expert sources and began conducting research on high-profile public figures. Number 2. Anonymous. Anonymous got its start in 2003, on 4chan message boards in an unnamed forum. The group exhibits little organization and is loosely focused on the concept of social justice. For example, in 2008, the group took issue with the Church of Scientology and began disabling their websites, thus negatively impacting their search rankings in Google, and overwhelming its fax machines with all-black images. As noted by The New Yorker, while the FBI and other law enforcement agencies have tracked down some of the group's more prolific members, the lack of any real hierarchy makes it almost impossible to identify or eliminate the anonymous as a whole. Number 1. Kevin Mitnick. In 1981, Kevin was charged for stealing computer manuals from Pacific Bell. In 1982, he hacked the North American Defense Command, an achievement that inspired the 1983's film War Games. And again, in 1989, he hacked Digital Equipment Corporation's network and made copies of their software. Because DEC was a leading computer manufacturer at the time, he was later arrested and sent to prison. During his conditional release, he hacked Pacific Bell's voicemail systems. Although Kevin ultimately went white hat, he may be part of the gray area. Later in 2014, he launched Mitnick's Absolute Zero-Day Exploit Exchange, which sells unpatched, critical software exploits to the highest bidder. Hacking is not a recent invention. In fact, it has been around since the 1930s, although not always associated with computers. The hacker onslaught didn't occur overnight. It took decades of work by now famous hackers to discover critical vulnerabilities and reveal the strategies that established the foundations of the internet and its free-for-all libertarianism. Black hat, white hat, or somewhere in between, hackers have had a huge impact on the evolution of information technology. See if you agree that these 10 hackers belong on this list is top 10 of all the time best.